Humans have existed for thousands of years, and with time there have been innovated things which have left even scientists of these days baffled. Many of their inventions are unexplainable, even by the most brilliant minds, which show that ancient people were smart and ahead of the times. Let's check 10 ancient inventions over which scientists are still breaking their head. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe. Number 10. Robots in ancient China. In ancient China, we came across a number of highly advanced robots that could sing, dance, act like servants, and perform many other surprising tasks. Some of these remarkable robots are even said to have possessed lifelike organs such as bones, muscles, joints, skin, and hair. It's quite remarkable considering it's only recently our modern civilization has started to develop human-like robots. There's no doubt mechanical engineering in ancient China reached a very high level. The history of robots in ancient China can be traced far back in time. Robots existed not only during, but before the Tang Dynasty. Number 9. Ancient computers. In 1900, an amazing encrusted bronze object of undetermined use was found on the small island of Antikythera, 25 miles northwest of Crete. One of the curious scientists decided to clean it and found that it was a complex instrument with cog wheels fitting into one another. Finally, graduated circles and inscriptions marked on the instrument in ancient Greek were apparently related to its function. Based on the cargo, it was dated to about the 1st century BC. It seemed to be a sort of astronomical clock without pendulum, but no Greek or Roman writer has ever described such an ancient computer, though many other wonders of antiquity are mentioned. Researchers have long debated where the device was built and by whom. The enigmatic Antikythera mechanism is still full of secrets. Number 8. Ancient sophisticated mercury-based gilding that we still can't reach. Ancients were in possession of very sophisticated knowledge. Ancient gold and silversmiths used mercury, which was produced more than 8,000 years ago in Turkey. Mercury was used for gilding in many parts of the ancient world. Many of the ancients' techniques are still unknown. They were so skilled that some of the quality they achieved still has not been matched. In ancient times, these sophisticated methods were used to produce and decorate different types of artifacts such as jewels, statues, amulets, and commonly used objects. From a technological point of view, the aim of these workmen over 2,000 years ago was to make the precious metal coatings as thin and adherent as possible. This was in order to save expensive metals and to improve the resistance to the wear caused by continued use and circulation. Sometimes the technology was used to apply real gold and silver. It was also used fraudulently to make cheap metal statues that look like solid gold or silver. Number 7. The LYCURGUS cup. This amazing artifact clearly shows that our ancestors were far ahead of their time. In fact, they were so advanced that they may have even been inventors of what we today call nanotechnology. This extraordinary cup is the only surviving complete example made of dichroic glass, which changes color when held up to the light. When light is shown through the body of the cup, it turns from opaque green to a glowing translucent red. The glass contains tiny amounts of colloidal gold and silver, which give it these unusual optical properties. Another good example revealing our ancestors were familiar with nanotechnology are the strange microscopically small nanospirals within material that had to be at least 100,000 years old have been detected in several places. During a routine investigation of mineral deposits in the Ural Mountains in 1992, the origin of these extraordinary but strange artifacts that the human eye can barely see is still not explained. The fascinating artifact that reveals prehistoric knowledge of nanotechnology. Number 6. Crystal sunstones helped Vikings to navigate. Over 1,000 years ago, hand-built wooden ships equipped with massive, hand-loomed sails, the Vikings navigated the extremely challenging waters of the North Atlantic. While voyaging on the seas, how did the Vikings know where they were going? The Norse sagas mention a mysterious sunstone, a magical stone which showed sailors roads when the sun disappeared. Sunstones can no longer be considered just a myth. Archaeologists have discovered a special crystal that suggests legendary Viking sunstones did exist in reality. The crystal, uncovered in the 1592 sunken Elizabethan shipwreck near the Channel Islands between England and France, is shown to be an Iceland spar. The research team, headed by scientists at the University of Rennes, says the stone was next to a pair of navigation dividers, suggesting it may have been kept with the ship's other navigational tools. It's believed that Vikings used so-called sunstones as a compass to find their way in Arctic waters. Researchers suggest that sunstones could have been held up toward the center of the sky, allowing sunlight to hit it and get polarized and broken into an ordinary and an extraordinary beam. On a clear, not cloudy day, they could have rotated the crystal until the pair of beams lined up. By noting where the sun was when this happened, navigators could make a reference point to use even when the sun was obscured by clouds or twilight. It's truly an amazing tool. Number 5. Incredible ancient metallurgical wonders. The antediluvians had technologies that matched our own. There are also serious indications that in certain areas they even possessed extraordinary knowledge, which has only hardly been nudged by our present-day science. Highly advanced hardening techniques of the ancients, as well as ancient castings of large pieces, were widespread in antiquity. Our ancestors were in possession of an extremely sophisticated scientific knowledge of metalworking from an earlier civilization, and evidence of this knowledge was found in different parts of the world. Was the earliest civilization that manufactured cast iron, and some of the ancient Chinese feats of casting iron are so impressive as to be almost unbelievable. Ancient Indians produced iron capable of withstanding corrosion, most likely due to the high phosphorus content of the iron produced within those times. A column of cast iron 23 feet high, weighing approximately 6 tons, with a diameter of 16.4 inches, stands in the courtyard of Qutub Minar in Delhi, India. An inscription in the Sanskrit language informs that the column was originally erected in the temple of Mutra and capped with Garuda, messenger of the gods, an image of the bird incarnation of the god Vishnu, the Indian god known as the Preserver. Number 4. Batteries in the ancient world. A small, undecorated artifact with rather plain appearance, it's believed by some scientists to be an example of a prehistoric electrical power source. It's the so-called Baghdad battery, also known as the Parthian battery. The artifact, thought to be a 2,000-year-old electric battery, was found in 1936 by railroad workers in the area of Tel Kujit Rabu, south of Baghdad. Most sources date the batteries to around 200 BC, but the first known electric battery, the voltaic pile, was not invented by Italian physicist Alessandro Volta until 1799. The bottoms of these mysterious cylinders were capped with copper discs and sealed with bitumen and asphalt. Another insulating layer of bitumen sealed the tops of the pots and held in place iron rods suspended into the center of the copper cylinders. The rods showed a strong evidence of having been corroded by an acid solution that evaporated long ago. Number 3. Sound manipulation. The hypogeum of Hal-Saflieni in Malta has special significance due to its remarkable acoustic properties. It's an underground cave system covering around 500 square meters on 3 levels, with various interconnecting corridors and passageways that lead to a number of small chambers built between 3000 and 2500 BC. The cave system was rediscovered in 1902, and since then, there's been a particular interest in one of the rooms named the Oracle Chamber. With its ceilings intact, the underground structure holds secrets of a strange play of sound in the stone rooms and halls, a forgotten technology which operates on the human emotional sphere. The space is said to amplify voices dramatically, with certain frequencies resonating enough to be felt throughout the body. The Hal-Saflieni hypogeum has a dark history. Researchers have discovered the hypogeum of Hal-Saflieni contained the bodies of over 7,000 people. A speaking chamber, trilithons, lintel doorways, a large cistern, and a holy of holies surrounded by the embryonic chambers. What experiments were conducted in this bizarre and mysterious place? Scientists are trying to find out. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in a future video. Number 2. Seems like this picture is photoshopped. as if there's nothing related to it on the internet. But we get the reason why someone would edit this. In ancient times, Vikings used swords to fight and hunt. These swords would have been used as a signal of power. They're really ancient and not many swords are found. Number 1. Ancient Peruvians softened stone. Archaeologists and other scientists have been scratching their heads trying to figure out how remarkable ancient Peruvian structures like Sacsayhuaman were constructed. This marvelous structure consists of gigantic stones so heavy that our modern machinery can hardly move and put it in place. Does the key to the puzzle lie in a certain very specific plant that gives the ancient Peruvians the possibility to soften stone, or is the answer to the mystery access to advanced ancient technology that could melt stone? According to researchers Jan-Peter de Jong, Christopher Jordan Jesus Gamarra, the granite walls in Cuzco show evidence of being heated to a very high degree and vitrified, the outside surface becoming glassy and very smooth. Based on this observation, Jong, Jordan, and Gamarra draw the conclusion that some sort of high-tech device was used to melt stone blocks, which were then placed and allowed to cool next to hard, jigsaw polygonal blocks that were already in place. Researchers Jong and Jordan propose that several ancient civilizations worldwide were familiar with the high-tech melting of stone technology. They also say that the stones on some of the ancient streets in Cuzco have been vitrified by some high temperature to give them their characteristic glassy texture. That's our list of 10 ancient inventions over which scientists are still breaking their heads. Which one do you think is the most fascinating one? Tell us in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.